here's another story for the Healer's Heart story series. These stories have been written, created, and recreated for you to just give you healthcare workers and nurses a little breath of fresh air as you go about your busy day. Maybe you're just sitting in the nursing lounge getting a quick glass of water and off you go again. So this is to remind you why we go into nursing, because it's the healer's art. So the story is told of a man whose ailing mother was in a long-term care facility, and he would go every Saturday night. He lived several hours away, and so he could only get there on the weekends. Well, all the nurses knew him, and they were always very excited to see him because they knew that his mother would be so happy to see him. Her little spirit always got more excited and happy, and it would stay that way for the next day or two until he would come again. And so it went for weeks and weeks and months until one night, on a Wednesday night, she was not doing well. Well, signs and symptoms made it look like this man's mom was not going to make it through the morning. And so that Wednesday shift, charge nurse called the contact information for her to say, your mother's not doing well. She suddenly took a turn for the worse, and if you want to see her one more time, you probably better come tonight. We've had to do some shifting, and so we're really paying attention to her. So, of course, immediately he did what he could, rearranged whatever was going on in his life so that he could make that several-hour drive to go see her. Well, by the time he got there after his work, it was late. And it was also a shift that didn't know him, and he didn't know her. Or them, the nurses. And so he came to that front desk to say, where's my mother? They said that there had been some changes and that she's passing. And the front desk said, oh, I know who's passing tonight. And so she directed him to a different room. Well, he went right in there, and sure enough, he found her pale, breathing difficulty, and not doing well, would barely open up her eyes and would shut them again in pain. And he held her hand and he caressed her face and he talked gently with her about all the wonderful things that she had done in life that were meaningful and meant so much to her children. Well, he stayed with her for the next hour until finally she did take her last breath. Well, it was emotionally exhausting and physically exhausting for him. And so when he finally left the room to tell the nurses she's passed, he asked a question that surprised the nurses. He said, who was she? And they said, well, that was your mom. You came in to see her and we knew she was going to pass. And he said, no, that one wasn't my mom, but she was somebody's mom and she couldn't pass by herself. So I stayed with her. So if it's okay, can you direct me to where my mother might be? The nurses were shocked. And that's why we as nurses are truly honored. And it's a privilege to be at both ends of life, isn't it? To be there at the door of birth and then that final exit door at death. So thank you to so many of you who are holding a lot of hands lately as they pass through that exit door during the COVID pandemic. Now, I've heard from some of my previous nursing students whose hearts are broken because they're not allowed to hold hands and to touch because of the concern of social distancing and isolation. So we know there's so much that you can project through the energy of your soul to show love and comfort and that they're not alone. Thank you for developing, improving, enlarging those kinds of skills. That's the art of nursing. Thank you for being nurses and healthcare professionals. And with that, happy healing.